Okay, hi everyone. For those of you who like the Tide Simply line, we're going to be comparing the Tide Simply Clean and Fresh, just the original, and then we're going to be comparing it to the Simply Oxi, just to see if this is any better. I'm glad I was able to find, or I've had these for a while, but when I got them, I was able to find the small versions of these. That way I don't have to have the big ones. And so for those of you looking to purchase the larger size bottles, we'll see, does it make more sense to pay a little bit more for the Simply with Oxi, or do they do just about the same job? Now, for this experiment, we're having the 4 stains: yellow mustard, sriracha sauce, chocolate sauce, and grape juice. These stains have set on the cloths for about 4 days, a little bit over. And so it's gonna really push it to the limits. I will label each one so we know that the Tide Simply has Z on the little tag. The Simply with Oxi has Z. The regular Tide Simply has a Y on it. And then somebody wanted me to do a control where we just wash it with water. And so I put X on this one. So we're gonna do the control first. The wash stains we're gonna do for this experiment are going to be precise feel for the water level. We're gonna do a warm water temperature. We're gonna do a deep clean, because I don't think I've done these tests on the deep clean cycles. I may do for the rest of these next couple of videos that I plan to shoot. I may do it on the deep clean setting. There's not going to be a second rinse option, and there's not going to be an auto soak. So we're just going to wash it in the water itself. And I'm going to purposely put this underneath. I'm going to make sure they're at the bottom there. And we're going to come back mid-cycle, I guess, just to see how it's doing. Okay, so while I am currently working on that wash cycle, what I'm going to do is pre-treat this stain for 1 hour. This wash cycle should take about an hour, so it's going to all work itself out. This is 1 teaspoon. Let me see. And so that's all we do. And then what we're going to do is, let me see, I'm trying not to spill it. Put it on the stain, spread it out. And I'll speed this up in post.
Okay, so basically I just wanted to say that the washer is going right now, so this is why I wanted to put the voiceover over this part so you don't have to hear all the noise. But basically all I'm saying is it's going to be an hour that I'm going to wait for the detergent to sit on in the wash cycle, but that's all. So we'll move on to the next clip here.
Okay, so this is just basically finished the cycle. Like I said, it's about an hour long. That's how long the cycle time it is. But these have been pre-treated for an hour. This is the control with just washing with water alone. We're going to see how the Tide Simply does versus just washing with water alone on the deep clean setting. So hold on 1 second. I'm going to take this. I'm going to toss it in. It really doesn't matter. I'm just going to lay that on top as of what it is. And then when it allows me to add the detergent after it configures itself, we'll be back. Okay, so now we're going to add this detergent. I did 1 full capful. So that's what it calls for a large or heavily soiled wash cycle. And we'll be back at the end with the results. Okay, so while that is filling, or while the wash cycle for the Tide Simply Clean is going, we're going to pre-treat with the Tide Simply plus Oxi. So pour some of this in here. Okay. And then I'm going to take my 1 teaspoon. It is a little difficult to do this at one hand.
Okay, right now would be an excellent time for you to leave a comment below, and subscribe to this channel for more laundry detergent reviews and other cleaning product reviews. Or if you want some other type of review, just let me know. So right now, I'm just adding the detergent to the 4 stains. We're going to let it sit for 1 hour, which is the same amount of time that we let sit the regular Tide Simply. And then we're going to put it through the wash cycle, and we're going to see how it compares to the control and the regular Tide. So we'll get back to that in a second.
I did want to show y'all, it's probably been maybe like 45 seconds with the wash cycle, just to let y'all see how it looks. Some of y'all like to see the suds. This is just with the regular Tide Simply, not the Oxi. So it's just, we're on this wash cycle. So I just wanted to pause that real quick just so y'all can see this, but we'll be back at the end of it. And I just put this one that's free trading, I just put it over here for the moment. So far, this is what we have. This is the control. We just got finished doing with the Tide Simply. We have to let this dry a little bit. This just came out of the wash. It's not 100% dry, but just dry a little bit more. And the reason is because when you let it dry a little bit, you can see the remaining of the grape juice stain, the aftermath of it. A lot of times, you know, it's bright purple, but then when you wash it, it lifts up and it leaves this darkish hue around. So we have to wait for this to come dry to really compare this. So we'll give that some time. It did lighten up this stain a little bit, and it did lighten up the mustard stain a little bit, but not significantly. Ooh. This is one of the reasons why I'm not the biggest fan of this. There are some people I've seen different reviews, and you know, if it works for you, it works for you. But when it comes to this actual stain lifting ability on hard stains, it does okay. I'll use it to wash just something that's basically just a little dirty, maybe a little bit of dirt on there, not clay. That's a totally different thing, having dirt versus like clay that's in the South. And for those, I would say the South of the United States. So you think Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina, those states. Anyway, now this has been sitting for an hour, so we're gonna throw this in and we're gonna, hopefully it renders a couple better results since it says plus Oxi. But I'm gonna have to do a whole separate video on the plus Oxi thing, because a lot of times when they do add plus Oxi, it's because they add sodium percarbonate, sodium bicarbonate.
I want to take a second to make a correction to what I said back then. I did a little research looking into it, and I just want to correct this. Now, just because a laundry product, whether it be a powder, a liquid, or a pod, has plus Oxi on it, does not mean the same thing as plus OxiClean. The active ingredient in OxiClean, the powder, is the compound sodium percarbonate. And so what I want y'all to know is that just because it has Oxi on it does not mean it has the active ingredient sodium percarbonate. All it means is when any of the products have plus Oxi, not plus OxiClean, but plus Oxi, means that it has some compounds in it that are going to create a chemical reaction where the product is going to have oxygen as one of the products in the chemical formula. And so what that means is that it's just going to release oxygen, which is similar to sodium percarbonate in water. It causes the reaction that releases oxygen. Now, why this is important to differentiate the two is that some of you may get a product that says Oxi on it, and you think in your mind OxiClean, or you think that it's something so great and so grand. That's not always the case, because just because it has plus Oxi on it does not necessarily mean it's going to perform better than just the generic brand of that laundry detergent. So like Tide and then Tide plus Oxi. Some people may think the Tide plus Oxi may perform better. And if you do it and you use that product and it performs better for you, that's great. But that's not always the indicative of, you know, how it's going to perform. And with my results, you will see that that's kind of how I got my results, that the plus Oxi did not end up doing a better job. Sorry for the spoiler, but it didn't end up doing a better job than the regular one. And you'll see more when I explain that. But I just wanted to come on here and make that differentiation for y'all so that you know when you look at a product, don't be fooled by it saying plus Oxi to make you feel in your mind that it's going to perform better, because that's not necessarily always the case that it will perform better. What I would say is it's best to just look up the product, see other people's reviews, see how they have viewed it, and if it works for them, and then you can give it a try for yourself. Or like this is doing, watch a video, see how other people's experience is with it, and understand that just because somebody else had a positive experience with a product doesn't mean that you will. You may take one of the products that y'all see in my videos, and some of y'all have commented that y'all didn't like it, it didn't work for you. And like I always say in my videos, if it works for you, it works for you. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I just wanted to highlight that real quick. Now back to the video.
You can now add the detergent. All right. Okay, so it's only been spinning for like 45 seconds, and this time this is the Tide Simply Plus Oxi. Just so y'all see what's going on. To my eyes, it is bubbling a little bit more than the go around with just the Tide Simply, but we will see what the final product tells us. The bubbles don't matter. It's about the final results at the end of the day. So I'll catch you at the end for the final results. Okay, everyone, so it is now complete, and I've given it maybe roughly 40 minutes to dry down a little bit. That way it can expose the remnants of the grape juice stain on each one of them. On the far left, we have our control. What we can say is all them, just the water itself, was able to remove the chocolate stain, which once again, I know different chocolate bars, different chocolate sauces have different varying degrees of how hard they are to remove. But from my tests that I have shown, they don't seem to be that hard, which is interesting to me when you look at different tests that other corporations do, Consumer Reports. The New York Times did one, or there was an article that they had posted about. I don't know exactly which facility conducted the experiment that the New York Times used their data from. It wasn't from Consumer Reports, it was from something else. But they say that chocolate stain is a hard stain to remove, but I guess they have some other type of brand of chocolate. Maybe they have some interesting, unique German chocolate. But anyway, they were all able to remove the chocolate stain. So that leaves the sriracha stain, the yellow mustard stain, and the grape juice stain. Now, to my surprise, not surprise, the best, in my opinion, out of all of these is just the original Tide Simply Clean. And don't forget, we labeled them. The Tide Simply was Y. The Tide Simply plus Oxi is Z. And then we had X for our control. So that's why I wanted to label them so y'all can see I didn't do anything crazy or switch up anything. These are just what the results show. And to me, in the yellow mustard stain, you can see in the regular Simply, it was able to remove more of it. It's lighter. Then on the Oxi, when you look at these two stains, they're almost wet and wet, but I would still argue that the Simply was able to lighten it up a little bit more in more areas, because this has a dark patch here, a dark patch here. This has a little bit of a dark patch here, but to me, this dark patch and this dark patch is darker than this dark patch. And then when it comes down to the grape juice stain, I would still argue that this side did a little bit better than this side. Even when you look at it in person, which y'all can see, this is a good comparison because it's not that much different in person than what it looks like in real life. So to me, the Tide Simply, this just did a better job than the Oxi. So if you see these, I would recommend just go with the regular Simply, because I was hoping that the Oxi was gonna do better. Now, when you look at the ingredients, let me see if I can zoom in on that. Let me put it down. There's an ingredient on there called subtilicin, and then it has amylase enzymes. That is the only difference between this one and this one. They have all the same ingredients, except the Oxi one has those two ingredients. And I was thinking that hopefully that would help it do better, but it actually did not. Okay, I need you to focus, please. All right. So it actually did not do better. So I'm glad I was able to conduct this test for anybody. That way you know. And to be quite honest, when it comes to, I know yellow mustard stain is hard and sriracha stain is hard, but y'all look at it. I don't recommend this Simply line because it only does slightly better than just water. It did an okay amount better removing this stain. But when it comes to these two stains, this one did a better job lightening it up. But this one, no. Like, I would not recommend getting the Simply Oxi version of this, the regular one. Y'all see the results for yourself. I'll give y'all a second, which you could just pause the video at any time to look at anything, but I'll just zoom a little bit back out so y'all can see what's going on. Thank you so much for watching this comparison. I will catch y'all on the next one. Y'all have a great day.